Welcome to People Doing Good for Others. Welcome to People Doing Good for Others, where we honor and praise and celebrate those who are truly making significant contributions in our communities. I'm Gary York, and I'm grateful to be here, and I want to thank Wilkes Communications, RiverStreet Productions, and 100.9 WIFM for this opportunity. My featured guest on this series is Ms. Cinnamon Martin. She's a career advocate and dedicated employee at Wilkes Community College. She grew up here, attended and graduated from North Carolina State, has a master's in teaching and psychology and leadership from App State. She's a wonderful person who gives and cares and shares and makes a difference in the lives of others. This morning we're going to talk about a new direction for her at Wilkes Community College. She's Dean of Advising, so please stay with us. This is going to be a wonderful experience. And good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning to you. Thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about growing up in Wilkes County and your home and this calling to teach and going to the state.
Okay, so I did grow up in Wilkes County. I grew up in the Mulberry area. And I probably knew from a pretty young age that I needed to be an educator. What was interesting about that was that I excelled in school, and my dad wanted me to be an engineer, okay? And so I learned very quickly that that was his goal for me, not really my goal for myself, but that's why I ended up at NC State, is because I was going to be an engineer. And so it didn't take long for me to realize that that was not what I was intended to do. I wasn't exactly sure what that was, but I did find a love of psychology because of my introductory psychology professor at NC State.
Really? Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, his name was Dr. Callett, just like Ballot, and that's the way he introduced himself to us. And I learned so much about human behavior in that class, and it fascinated me. And so I've always been interested in why people do the things that they do and what motivates them. But that journey of realizing that I was doing something for someone else, I wasn't really doing it for myself, being an engineer was not what I needed to be. It has inspired me throughout my career towards advising and how important it is that students realize that what they want to do is really their path and no one else's.
Ms. Martin, tell us about today, your family and where you live. And
Sure. So I went to NC State and I loved Raleigh, but I loved the mountains more, and I wanted to come home. And I met my husband, and we have a daughter. We've been married for 26 years in September, and our daughter is 18, and she is a student at the Wilkes Early College High School, which means that she's getting her high school diploma at the same time she's getting her college degree through Wilkes Community College. So we live in Palier, and that's what we call, that's home, and it's beautiful. My husband calls it God's country. It's absolutely
beautiful. And he's a career
place.
dedicated servant here at Wilkes Communications?
He is. Jim works here as the IT manager, and he makes sure all the computers work at Wilkes Communications, as well as making sure that all the employees have what they need to do their job as far as technology goes.
Now I want you to give us a career track since leaving North Carolina State, if you will.
Okay. So after I left North Carolina State, I did come to Appalachian, and I earned my master's degree in leadership and higher education and adult education, and that's where I truly found that, again, that passion that I had from childhood to be a teacher, to be an educator. But I realized through my association with Wilkes Community College that that's what I needed to do. So while I was working on that graduate degree, I became employed at Wilkes Community College. This was in 1993.
Wow.
And so in 1993, I started in a continuing education program. It was called Human Resources Development. And my whole purpose was to help people who were either unemployed or underemployed get the skills that they needed to be employed, and to be employed in such a way that they could earn a sustainable wage. And so I worked with folks from all sorts of backgrounds in my role at HRD. So I started there in 1993. I'm finishing up my master's.
You said you were part-time, right?
I was part-time. So I didn't work as a full-time employee. I was just a part-time employee. But I was finishing up my master's and helping all those folks, and I realized this is transformational. The work that Wilkes Community College does is transformational.
Ms. Martin, with our audience today, could you share a little bit of the dialogue of maybe being in front of the class of folks that are underemployed, unemployed, or how do, hope's a word I love there, if you will. Just talk about that, being there in front of folks who really need some help.
Yeah, and so what that's about for us is about life skills. And these days we call them soft skills, or we call them employability skills.
Employability?
Yeah, that's kind of what we talk about in 2019. We talk about employability skills. We called them life skills at the time. And so I would stand in front of folks who maybe had not understood exactly from their past how you get a good job and how you interact with other people to keep that job. So we hear from employers all the time that we can train them in the technical aspects of their career, but these are folks who need to understand how to be a good employee. What does it mean to show up on time? What does it mean to communicate with others in such a way that you are respectful of them, so that it will inspire them to be respectful of you? How to manage your money. You know, sometimes we don't learn how to manage our money when we are younger.
Goodness.
So those life skills classes, they covered all of those things. And really what I would tell my students then, and what I tell my students now, is that I'm a partner in their learning.
A partner?
Mm-hmm. I'm their partner.
I like that.
Yeah.
So let's go back and start again the career thing through your 26 years at Wilkes Community College.
So 1993, I'm a part-time employee with Human Resources Development, and I continued to work in that area for quite a while. I went and did some things with Goodwill Industries for a little while, because again, you know, the older you get, the more you need a full-time job. And so I was part-time there, did a few things with Goodwill, but I never lost my affiliation with the college. I taught as an adjunct even while I was working at Goodwill Industries. I worked with them as far as employability as well. And then I came back full-time in 1998, and I started in our Student Support Services program. And I was their transfer advisor. And what that means is I helped students on their journey to a four-year degree. Because at Wilkes Community College, we can do everything from those life skills classes that I was telling you about to helping students prepare for a four-year degree. So I did that for a little while, and then I transitioned and I became a full-time faculty member. And after that, I became the chair of one of the departments there at the community college. Then I became the Dean of Arts and Sciences. And as the Dean of Arts and Sciences, again, that's all with the transfer program to help students get a four-year degree.
Right.
And when this opportunity presented itself, I was just incredibly excited. And so this most recent change, which just took effect July 1, is to the Dean of Advising. And we are creating a brand new advising program for Wilkes Community College.
You mentioned the Kolnick family.
Yes, so I want to talk more about the Kolnick family, because it's the Kolnick family's generous donation of $1 million that has allowed us to implement this advising program now at this time in this way.
My goodness.
Yeah, it's incredibly generous, and I am so grateful to that family for putting their trust in Wilkes Community College.
My word.
Yeah.
So before we move forward, let's back up a minute and let's talk about your daughter and the early college and the opportunities that education brings to families and youngsters today. Will you do that for me?
Sure.
Just don't forget that.
Yeah, so the early college high school is an opportunity for a student to leave middle school, and instead of going to one of the 4 traditional high schools in Wilkes County, they come to Wilkes Community College. And they start taking college classes when they're in the 9th grade. So as a 9th grade high school student, they are taking high school classes and they're taking college classes. So this is a 5-year program, and at the end of the 5 years, my daughter Jamie will have her high school diploma. She will also have a 2-year associate's college degree, and for Jamie, she will actually have a graphic design diploma as well. So she's going to graduate with 3 credentials that will help her in her journey. And education is transformational. We all feel that way at Wilkes Community College. It's the education that takes us where we want to go.
Who's Zach Barraclough?
So Zach Barraclough is the Vice President of Strategy at Wilkes Community College, and he is intimately involved with our strategic plan. So the strategic plan was created, really it was the vision of Dr. Jeff Cox, our president, and Zach kind of took that vision, took that dream, and has made it into a day-to-day plan for Wilkes Community College. Because you know, you can have a beautiful vision, but it takes somebody with boots on the ground to make sure that that's moving forward. And Zach does that for us at Wilkes Community College. He's making sure that our strategic plan is moving forward. The advising program is part of that strategic plan.
Cinnamon Martin, tell us about the office and the layout and your teams and folks that are going to be for this incredible opportunity for communities and students, Wilkes Community College. Tell us about how's that going to look,
okay,
if you will.
So we will be located in Thompson Hall, and we've got a beautiful space. It's going to be the Petro Kolnick Advising Center, and so we're really excited about that. It'll be in Thompson Hall. And our advisors are going to be on the Wilkes campus. Our advisors are going to be located in that center, okay? So I've got 4 advisors and me at the Wilkes campus, and then I've got 2 advisors at the Ash campus, and I've got 1 advisor at the Allegheny Center, because Wilkes Community College serves Wilkes, Ash, and Allegheny counties in our service area. So students are going to be able to come in, they're going to have a nice opportunity to interact with our advisors on a daily basis. But what's really unique about this is our students will now take the hand of somebody who knows what's going on, who can help them reach their goals.
Take the hand.
Yeah, because it's the partnership. So we're going to come alongside them and take their hand at admission, okay?
Will be like assigned a young student or a student, and an advisor will be paired?
Yes, and that's
partnered.
The beauty of how we're going to partner that. So they come into admissions and they're assigned based on who is their academic success teacher. We have a class at Wilkes Community College and it's called Academic Success. And so their teacher in academic success will become their advisor and will be their advisor from day 1. We encourage all students to take this academic success in their first semester. And so in their first semester, my advisors are going to get the opportunity to build this relationship with this student over 16 weeks in class. So as they get to know one another, they're going to have these conversations about, well, where do you want to be? What is your goal? What do you want to do? And then we will be able to help them determine what educational path will allow them to fulfill their goal. And that's really the beauty of this new program. And then
how do we advise a youngster who says, well, I just don't have any idea?
Yeah. So I hear that a lot. Yeah.
You have a lot of that a lot?
I do. I hear that a lot. And see, the other thing about Wilkes Community College is we're the best possible place for an undecided student. So we call those our undecided students. And they come in and they say, I have no idea. And so you'd be surprised when I start having a meaningful conversation and I say, okay, so undecided means that you're anywhere between physics and English. You might want to be a physicist, or you might want to be a journalist. And they say, well, no, I'm not quite that undecided, because one of the things that they don't realize.
Not quite that undecided?
Yeah.
I love that.
And so see, what we do is we take them from this large, I have no idea, all the way down, and we've got to start to whittle away at that. And so what I'll say to them is give them this broadness that means we're undecided. And they will say to me, no, I'm not quite that undecided. So they'll either say, no, I don't want to be anything like the journalist, or I don't want to be anything like the physicist. And they'll say to me, well, I've thought about this. And that's the first step, because most of us have thought about something. Now, if they say, I've never thought about anything, I'll say, well, what do you enjoy doing? What do you love to do? What are you good at? Because many people have said, if you will do something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's true, because if we do something we love, it isn't work, it's a joy. And that's one of the things that I love so much, because I do what I love. This is what I love.
Right.
And it is an absolute joy. And I would like for students to have that same experience. So when we have that conversation, this conversation leads us to a place where we can start looking at different things. We have a career counselor at Wilkes Community College who can help that student whittle down even further. And we can suggest to a student that maybe they go out and they job shadow someone in the community, so that if they think they want to be whatever.
So you connect them with an industry or a business,
We can do that.
an owner, a leader, and so they can spend time
Yes.
into action, so to speak, and
Right.
decide, is this the person I want to be?
Yes, because we don't always know what people do on a daily basis. So, what does a phlebotomist do every day? People don't necessarily know that. So we can help them see, what does a person do every single day in their career, to know if that's something that lights them up. Because you can see when somebody's eyes light up, and I can see that in students too. You can see that light bulb go off. And that's what we're all about, is helping those students, helping that light bulb go off for them.
Ms. Martin, how many youngsters will we transition into this year one, if you will?
Okay, so our implementation begins fall 2019, and every new student that comes through Wilkes Community College will transition into this new program. Our previous students will stay on the faculty advising model, just so that we can get a feel for how efficient it is to move into this new model. And also our students who have been with us for a year, they're moving more towards getting that job. And so their decisions probably have already been made. And so we will be impacting roughly 600 new students who will enter Wilkes Community College. And we're very excited about that.
Wow. So, Dean of Advising, and let's highlight again the structure of your staff,
Okay.
where they might be, and how we could find them.
Okay, so you're going to be able to find them by contacting me at any point, because as we are moving things around at the college to make sure that we have this beautiful new site.
Getting ready for the fall.
Yeah, getting ready for the fall. We're going to be temporarily located in some different spots. So you're going to be able to find them by locating me. And I'm on the website for Wilkes Community College. You can go to the faculty and staff tab, and you'll be able to find me. That's Cinnamon Martin, and you'll be able to call me or email me, and I'm going to be able to get you in touch with whoever you need to see. But when a student comes through the admissions process, they're going to be able to find us, because they're going to be specifically directed to go see the ASH counselors. If they're going to be taking their classes at the ASH campus, they're going to specifically be hooked up with our Allegheny Center advisor if they're at Allegheny, and they're going to specifically be hooked up with us if they're at the Wilkes campus.
Accept this challenge. Say there are 300 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a little overview of how that'll break out as to, will 40% be this, will 30, how's that going to work? Just normally, it's kind of scenario, if you will.
Yeah, so we have different programs. We've got all sorts of programs at the college. So maybe a 30 or 35% might be interested in doing a business degree, and we offer that through our Business and Public Service Technologies division. And these are big names, but they basically just mean if you want a 2-year degree in business and go straight to work, they're probably going to end up in our business division. We also have our health sciences division, okay? And so if you wanted to be a nurse, or if you wanted to be a respiratory therapist, if you wanted to be an EMT, work in emergency medical services, then you would end up there. So while the percentages change each semester really, it's really what the student is interested in. But we have all of these different career paths so that we can help students really whatever their goal is. Okay, so we have our career technologies. That's where our engineering and all of those advanced career type technical programs are located. We got robotics. We've got folks working on hybrid technology and electric cars. We got folks working on houses, building, construction. We've got robotics. I think I already mentioned robotics. So we've got all kinds of...
They have culinary school.
Yeah, we've got a culinary school where they can become a chef.
Right.
And so we've got everything really. And that's the important thing that I think people should know about the community college,
Yeah.
is that we really can serve students at every possible educational level.
Now I want to talk about, take a little turn, and your daughter's going to have a college degree, a high school degree, a graphic design concentration, and no debt.
Right, that's exact. Let's talk about debt.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because one of the greatest crises facing the United States right now is student debt. And what that debt comes from is students go into these schools where really the cost of attending that school has far outpaced any type of aid that they can receive. But that's not the case at Wilkes Community College. So our tuition and fees is very affordable. You hit on something very important. Jamie, taking advantage of the early college high school, she has zero debt because everything has been completely free, with just the exception of a little fee here and there, like $32.50 a semester. That's how affordable this is, okay? So if you've got somebody in your listening who's watching this and they have a child who is in the 7th and 8th grade and they're thinking about how am I going to afford college, they really need to look into the Wilkes Early College High School. They also need to look into the Ashe Early College High School, because we have this at our Ashe in our Ashe County area as well. So she's going to come out totally debt-free. So a student who didn't start that way, still the tuition and fees at Wilkes Community College are so affordable that a student can come out totally debt-free because of something called the Pell Grant. And many, many students come to college utilizing a federal Pell Grant. And a Pell Grant at Wilkes Community College covers the entire cost of their tuition and fees so that they can come to college with us.
So you get a full scholarship?
It's a Pell Grant. A Pell Grant is basically like a full scholarship.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ms. Martin, when, let's just maybe go into December, that first year, and a youngster's been assigned, and how often will we see them? And give us some ideas of how you see things might change and might have a different direction, or just talk to us about the realities that we know will happen in this wonderful Dean of Advising role you're going to have.
Right. So we're going to get to see them every single week, twice a week, because they're going to be in our classes. And so in that student success class, I'm going to be interacting with my new students, these brand new folks coming into Wilkes Community College, twice a week, every week, and I'm going to get to know them. I'm going to get to learn about them. And so when we near the end of the first semester, which will be in December, that's when we will start talking with our students about, all right, we've got this plan. We're going to create a student's educational plan during their student success class. We've got your plan. You know exactly what you need to take in this semester, what you need to take in this semester, and moving forward. And so we're going to give them that freedom to say, all right, I can operate within this plan. And then as they do that, as they go and they take their other classes, they're going to be able to come back and speak with us as much as they want to. And we will dedicate some checkpoints where the student will definitely come back and just have a discussion with us. But you know, every student's needs are different. And that's the beauty of this program, is that we're going to treat students as individuals. Some students know exactly what they want to do. They were never
From day
undecided.
one.
Yes. They were never undecided. They knew exactly what they wanted to do.
Oh my goodness.
And so when that's the case, if I help them develop that plan, they're just going to follow the plan. And their path is going to be as straight as it could possibly be. And then there's going to be students who came in undecided, and we have been continuing to work with them to figure out what's the best place for you to achieve your goals. And they're going to need more interaction with us. And so after that first semester, we'll set it up so that they might come back and talk to us once a month if they need to, even more often than that, if that's what the student needs.
We talked about the advising part of where we're going is so critical to success.
Yes.
Let's go there, if you will.
Yeah. So if you don't know what your goal is, then you have no clue as to how to get there. So advising is, we talked a little bit earlier, I take their hand from day one. We come alongside and we know so much more. See, if you, let's use a term called first generation college student, okay? That means that you're the first in your family to go to college.
They ever go to college?
Yeah. I happen to have been a first generation college student
now you
myself.
said your dad had a big influence in college. Was that part of his encouragement for you?
Well, he always wanted me to go to college. My mother always wanted me to go to college, but neither one of them did. And so they weren't exactly sure.
How did that happen?
Well, they valued education.
Education.
They valued education. And so even though they didn't know how exactly I was going to get there, they had always encouraged me. They believed in education, and they believed in me. And so as a first generation college student, advising is so critical, because imagine going to a foreign country. You've never been there before. You don't speak the language. How do you know what to do? Well, an advisor knows the country and knows the language. And so they partner with you and they guide you through the country. Now, the decisions that you make are yours. You know, what do I want to major in? What kind of career do I want? But they help me navigate the country and they speak the language for me. Because we do have a language in higher education, you know. People don't know what FGC means. It means first generation college. And that's what it means. And so advisors help students navigate this landscape that they don't understand.
How, do you remember a moment maybe or a period of time in your life where you just got it, this intense interest that you have in helping people? Could you,
that's a great
pause
question.
that just for a minute? And it might not have been a day, but I mean, you have a vitality about, someone said, was describing a person the other day, said, as I'll say about you, you have an intense, genuine interest in people.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, is that something, is that just a gift or?
You know what? I don't think it's a gift. I think that back in my human resource development days, back in 1993, when I came to Wilkes Community College and I started working with students, I knew that's probably my moment when I was like, this is what I need to do.
In 93?
Yeah, this is what I'm about. This is what I need to do. And I'm going to take whatever steps are necessary to do that. And then I'll tell you about my second moment. My second moment was learning that we were going to be able to implement this advising program, because I am so excited about the transformation that this will make in Wilkes Community College and the transformation it will be for our students. So that's another huge moment for me.
And it's been such an endearing session for me to be with an individual who's driven to lead, driven to matter, driven to be a sounding board, driven to be a financial aid advisor, driven to be answers for folks who don't have them. Right. How about close with that answer? Just, you know that you can matter because you want to do it and you're going to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And see, we will be that answer, and this is going to be so exciting. The challenges that lie ahead are extremely exciting for me and for the entire team. This team of people that we've got working on this, they will be those answers. And if we don't know the answer, we will find somebody who knows the answer for you, and we will help you navigate that path. So that's what education is all about.
Navigate that path.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Martin, Ms. Cinnamon Martin.
Thank you.
I'm Gary York, and this is People Doing Good for Others. We've had the opportunity today to be inside of Wilkes Community College with Ms. Cinnamon Martin. She's the new Dean of Advising and has a dedication to give and share and care and help people with the answers. And thank you for being with us today, and I look forward to our next session. So People Doing Good for Others is an opportunity to matter in the lives of others. Thank you.